How to hypnotize someone easy. Not just hypnotize them, but the easiest way to hypnotize them. Well, it's very, very simple. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to do it. So stay tuned and let's go into it. Hi, my name is DJ Papa from Good Mind, and on this channel we talk about all things mind, emotions, behavior, human psychology. We talk about techniques, methods, NLP, hypnosis, and everything else that can make us have a better life. Who can help you have a better life with a good mind. So let's talk about how to hypnotize someone easy. The easiest way to understand how to hypnotize someone actually is to understand how the human mind works. And the human mind is actually very, very simple if you understand its intricacies. And to hypnotize somebody, basically you have to do it this way. You have first to have their compliance. They have to want to be hypnotized. Now, some people say you can hypnotize people without, them knowing, or like the covert stuff. But I have to tell you, most of that stuff is just BS, basically. I have never seen anyone, except for TV shows, I have never seen or heard anyone to be able to achieve those, claims in real life. So I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but that's kind of what life is. It's full of bubbles that sometimes get bursted, and this is one of them. So, but if you want to hypnotize somebody easy, there's a few ways that you can do this. One of the simplest ways to do it is to basically engage that person's imagination. And the more you can engage their imagination, and the more they are following your guidance with the suggestions you give them, the easier they will fall into this kind of trance. Basically, every time you watch a movie, every time you read a book that kind of sucks you in, every time that you're absorbed by something, you're basically in a state of trance. So many times when I teach hypnosis, I tell people hypnosis, the state of hypnosis is very much a state of being taken by the story, being merged into the story, absorbed by it. Like when you're reading something and somebody calls you and you cannot hear them because you're in that story. Well, that's a very deep state of trance, and that is the easiest way that you can hypnotize somebody. So hypnotizing someone easily or with ease means that you need to be a very good storyteller. Because hypnosis is a state that needs imagination, and the more you can excite somebody's imagination, the more entranced they become, right? So I can tell you that like in kids when they learn in school, 1 + 1 = 2. That's just so dry, it's just like ugh. There's nothing there. But if I have an apple and another apple, then now I have 2 apples, and now I can make a story. I can make apple pie or apple salad or whatever, right? But that way, you can take the kids into it. So when you want to hypnotize somebody easily, what you need to do, you need to kind of talk to their child mind. And I'm not talking about, talking to them like they're stupid kids, because they're not. I'm just saying bring in a lot of beautiful metaphors, comparisons, ideas, create an image in their mind that can help them easily understand what you want to say. So let me give you an example. So a few days ago, I was walking down. I was coming from work, and I was walking down. It was evening, and there was this amazing sunset. Like I could look into the sky, and I could see the beautiful colors. The purple and the red. The sun was just setting, and there was just some clouds, and the rays of the sun were reflecting into those clouds, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. And I was just going home, and I just saw those clouds and that sky, and I was mesmerized by it. I could just sit there for hours, but I couldn't because, of course, the sun was setting. You see, creating that image for you helped you be transported into that story. Now, of course, I could do a much better job, probably, but just for now, I wanted to give you a short glimpse. It's the same way with hypnotizing. So basically, if you can create a story that entices people, that grabs their attention and then holds it, that is a good way to start trancing somebody, to start hypnotizing somebody. And that's the easiest way. Now, you may say, well, this is not hypnosis, this is just, basic storytelling. It is. And that's the beauty of it, because you can do it. You don't have to be a master hypnotist with degrees and all kind of diplomas on your wall. No, you don't have to do that. You can just tell a good story. Now, if within that story you can sneak in, so to speak, suggestions that will help that person transform, or achieve their goals, even better. Now, the problem is that many people think that if you do hypnosis, you can control their minds and whatnot, and that almost never happens, almost. So there are some times in situations when that can happen for a short time, but it almost never happens. For instance, in the world of hypnosis, one of the most famed hypnotists is Milton Erickson, who was basically helping people and was helping people with their issues by telling them stories. And here's how he was doing it. Instead of, a client comes in and says, I have this problem, and for Milton, instead of saying you should do this and this and that to fix it, he would say, oh, your problem reminds me of my friend Jack. My friend Jack had something similar, a similar situation. So Jack confronted with this situation, and here's what he did. So basically, when he said, here's what he did, that was the solution that he was offering the person who was asking for help. And that is very easy to do. It's like, you don't have to tell the person, you have to change. No, here's what Jack did. Jack did this, and by doing this, by changing his attitude, by looking at this situation in a different way, by transforming his perspective or vantage point and all that stuff, that helped Jack change his situation or resolve his problem and whatnot. And that is storytelling, right? That is the basics of storytelling. So that is the easiest way to hypnotize someone. So if you want to hypnotize somebody easy, if you want to help them easy, or if you want to suggest something to them, almost like unbeknownst to them, well, tell them a good story, a credible story for them. And once you've done that, you can sneak in all the information and suggestions that you would like to sneak in, and then see if that works out for you. This is the easiest way to hypnotize someone, and if you want to learn more about hypnosis, stay tuned, because I'm going to come up with more videos on how to hypnotize someone. And also, if you're interested in how to hypnotize someone for beginners, click on this bullet up here or the end card on this video, and it'll take you to that video where you can see me talking about how to hypnotize somebody for beginners, because I know there are a lot of beginners out there who want to start applying, learning hypnosis. I hope that this was very helpful for you, and in the next video I'm going to talk about how to hypnotize somebody for sleep. Maybe you want to hypnotize yourself, then I'm going to make a video how to hypnotize yourself. So be in touch, stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next video.